This is the final part of the observation videos, and this will go with the part that says Video 3, recording the documentation for your observations. You've heard me mention the log. Well, there is a log. It'll be a form, and you can create your own if you like, but it has to have this information in there, and I'm going to try to stick the blank one in to the tools as well. But it requires you to document your hours that you're in the classroom. And if you don't have 15 hours at the end of the semester, you fail the class. This is one of those strange things about the observations. You can miss some of the other lessons, which I don't recommend, but you miss any observations and you fail. So you'll want to be sure you get all your documentation in, because I won't give you credit for anything unless that documentation is there. So I usually say I won't grade the observations themselves until I see the log. So it's wise to submit the log, template 1, template 2, template 3, all in one area, and then the compare and contrast is going to go in another area. So it has to have something in it like the date. I have to know when you were out there in the school. I need to know the school name, and it's wise to put in like the whole name, like Suncoast School for Innovative Studies. There are a couple Suncoast schools out there, so you want to make sure you get the right one, and the phone number in case I have to call and check on that. And each school should have that kind of thing. It's a good idea to schedule all 3 of your observations that you want to do at one time in one school, and then you move on to another school for the next set. It's very easy to keep track of stuff that way. The time in and the time out shows me exactly when you signed in to the classroom and when you left the classroom, and the total number of hours. Now remember, no more than 2 hours with any one teacher. With exception of one, I will allow 1 3-hour core observation if you choose to do it that way. The more classrooms you get to see, the better off you will be in the long run. So then your total number of hours, so I want that in there. Were you there for 2 hours? Were you there for 1 hour and 45 minutes, which is not 2 hours? But you were at the next one for, 2 hours and 15 minutes, so that total will come up to the next hours anyway. And the grade level, because that makes a difference too. So I want that in your log. And then the teacher's name written, because some teachers' signatures are really undecipherable, and I need to match your reports to the log, so I need to have the names to match. And that's my reason behind having that. The name is in typed, and you'll notice that I typed in the signatures, which you can't do. I've had students do that too, and I always have to go back and say, I'm sorry, they need to be signed by the teacher. That's why you take the log with you, and you get it signed when you're there in the classroom. I've had to send students back to those teachers to get those signatures. So plan ahead for that. So you see a blank observation log there, that'll be in there. Now, how are these observations graded? A lot of it is subjective, but there is really a rubric that goes with it. And you'll notice that there are several different areas. Mechanics is one of them. There you have the documentation. There's no points with no documentation available, even though it says 25 up there. It's a 0. It's not there. Was it handed in on time? With the grammar and spelling, you're going to be a teacher. So you should be using correct grammar and correct spelling. Please, my hackles raise every time I see principal, the leader of the school. When I see it spelled Principle, I about have a conniption. Because you need to know how to spell the name of that leader of the school. He is your pal. So it's going to be the Principal, principal. I also have problems with aid. Aid is something you give. AID is something you give to a student. A paraprofessional working in there is an aid, AIDE. There's another one too. I can't remember quite what it is, but it'll come to me. But these are things that you really need to know. Oh, I know what it is. It's definitely and defiantly. Spell check has a habit of changing definitely to defiantly. When you're defiant about something, you're kind of upset about it and you're going to defy the rules. You don't want to be defiant. You feel strongly about it. Make sure you spell it the correct way. Those are just a couple of things that bug the heck out of me. So grammar and spelling is checked, and if there are lots of grammar errors, it's going to come off on and show up in your score. It's going to be lower. Now the format, remember I asked you to double space and to leave, we got a 12-point font, and that you're going to use normal margins, but you're going to space between paragraphs or different ideas. So it gives me that white space. So that's going to be part of that mechanics. The content, it follows the templates actually, so that you can see all the things that are there. And the last thing, well, I guess the content is the last thing there. Oh, I guess it's considerations. I think it's the considerations. Anyway, that's the template that's going to be used to judge your observations. So, hopefully, in summary, this gives you an overview of all of what I just said. And how you divide up your observations is up to you. You have 3 dates that they're due. So you could conceivably do, as I show here, you could do 2 different teachers for 1 hour, or 3 different teachers for 1 hour. And you're going to end up having a 3-hour total. Or you could do 3 different teachers or 2 different teachers for 2 hours, and you're going to end up with having a 4-hour total. And that leaves you a certain number to do yet. When you hand them in, I will say you have successfully completed X number of hours, and that leaves you X number of hours to go. So you can always check that on my responses to know just where you are in this whole process, and you can keep track of your observations that way. Make sure your name's on all of the things. Make sure the school's names are on there. And I think after you get to that point, the requirements are all going to be complete, and you'll have gotten through the observation process. Now this video will be up here, or this lesson will be up here with all these videos that you can go back at any time. If you want to review this before you go out and do your observation each time, feel free, because the video is not going to go anyplace, and it may give you the ideas and the information that you need. So good luck with the process. I look forward to reading your observations. It's a really great opportunity that you have to see how classrooms really work and to make some connections. Because sometimes they make some connections with you that are advantageous for the future. So be careful and enjoy.